Now at 10, we are pretty much done with our storm system overall, but winter weather advisories trying to hold on until the midnight hour. We are going to dry out and clear out and start warming up for tomorrow. We'll break down the night and the day ahead for first weather coming up.
As the snow falls, so is the temperature, meaning that the roads are slick. I'm Bronte Sorotsky with how to stay safe on your commute.
The Pitt State women are coming off a 26-point win. They hit the floor today against Washburn. We've got the highlights in sports.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Winter weather hits the 4 states once again with some winter weather advisories, covered roadways, and slick conditions. And while it hasn't been, a ton of snow out there, there's still a fair amount of it that dropped. We're going to kick off our coverage tonight with meteorologist Nick Kelly.
And before we see where we're going, Chris, let's look back on how the day has been overall, because it was certainly quite interesting when we break down temperatures. We had midnight highs right around 45 degrees. We dropped to 24 this morning, and as the periods of snow worked on through, all we could do was stay in the 20s, and some spots as warm as maybe 30, 31 degrees for this afternoon. That was about it. As far as how much snow we picked up, we saw the amounts according to the snow tracker estimates pretty much spot on with what we were thinking the other night. Much of southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma, a dusting to an inch of snow. Once you hit the 69 and 49 corridors in our area, that's where we saw 1 to 3 inches of snow pick up, even some 4-inch amounts in spots. But once you work east of 49, that's where we saw some areas, especially south of 44, try to push near 6 inches of snow. We're winding the system down overall, but we still have winter weather advisories holding on until we hit the midnight hour. But in general, again, you saw how the bulk of this precip with the backside of the storm system is pretty much out of the area. So in general, we're dry overall for the night, but with some clearing skies and a lighter breeze, the snow on the ground could lead to some patchy fog in the morning as lows drop back near 20. And also a quick note, these temperatures could make any untreated roads a bit slick, so we got to be watchful for that. But the sunshine returns tomorrow, Chris, and we'll be back above freezing as well. We'll see if this is a trend that will continue for the week ahead here in a bit.
All right, Nick, thank you. As Nick mentioned, those roads once again turning treacherous across the region, so area experts are offering some tips on how to stay safe if you do have to be out and traveling on these icy roads. KOM's Bronte Sorotsky spoke with those in Missouri and Kansas and has more.
Winter weather has once again returned to the 4 states. And whether you're a fan of the snow or not, you need to know how to stay safe when driving in these conditions.
We've responded to a few slide-offs today, so we haven't had a whole bunch of calls, but we definitely have had a few calls today of vehicles slid off into the ditch.
Sergeant Nate Jones with the Cherokee County Sheriff's Office says they did start to see people needing assistance on Saturday due to treacherous road conditions, and offers advice to anyone who needs to be out.
If you're going to be out there, we just ask you increase your following distance, slow down. If you have your wipers on, headlights on, make sure you give yourself enough time to slow down coming up to intersections.
In southwest Missouri, road conditions are similar to those in southeast Kansas. Steve Campbell with MoDOT says their crews have been working all day to ensure all roads, even secondary ones, are safe for all Missourians.
Well, good news is that we have started on the secondaries throughout the entire 21 counties. I think we're in great shape between Springfield and Branson, and then that snow kind of covered everything back up. But we'll get there. It normally takes a few hours after the snow quits flying. And so we will get there, and we will be on the secondary system across the entirety of the district.
Campbell's advice is similar to Sergeant Jones's. Take it slow, but he says if you do happen to slide off, it's important to be prepared before you even hit the road.
Put some waters in the car, gloves, hats, stuff like that, so that in the event that you do run off the road, you can at least have an opportunity to stay warm.
But most importantly, if you do need to be on the roads in these conditions, make sure to be careful. I'm Bronte Sorotsky for KOAM News.
Now, of course, we got more tips, the latest road conditions, and closings in our area over at KOAMNewsNow.com. Winter storm whiteouts always bring out the hunt for 2 key food staples, and experts explain why. Bread and milk become the sources of life in weather food panics. And experts say that's because they're the backbone of our cooking and diet in the U.S. Other non-U.S. cultures base their diets differently, but Americans are conditioned to get them because they're perishable and aren't stocked long. Experts say to avoid food panic, have 2 weeks of non-perishable supplies on hand, and make emergency preparedness kits for homes and vehicles. Calypso Scuba in Joplin held an underwater Texas Hold'em tournament today, but not just because it sounded like a cool idea, although it is a pretty cool idea, right? For a $20 entry fee, you could take part in the tournament, and that fee goes to the Joplin area firefighters' charitable causes. There were prizes awarded to the top 4 players. Organizers say giving back is just something they love to do as often as they can.
We know enough of the firemen, we know the sacrifices they make and the good things that they very quietly do for the entire community and each other, and especially little children who are, standing there watching everything they own burn up, and to be able to be handed a warm blanket and a stuffed animal, it just means the world. So we are really happy to help and to have the community come out too.
In addition, there was a chili contest, which was a perfect addition for such a chilly day. Nick, you like that? I'll see myself out. Well, today is the first day of a special presentation at the Joplin Public Library. It's called City of Hope, Resurrection City, and the 1968 Poor People's Campaign. The poster's exhibit honors Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s final vision for all Americans to be equal. The exhibit examines the Poor People's Campaign, which drew thousands to Washington to demand social reform while living in a tent city called Resurrection City. It features 18 posters said to help people engage with the historical and present-day relevance. City of Hope is on display now until February the 28th. A person is dead after a shooting aboard an Amtrak train in Missouri, and the suspect is still on the run. Police say the shooting happened Friday night, and while the train was stopped at the Lee Summit train station. Officers say the train left the station after the shooting and continued to its next stop with the wounded person still on board. Police got the initial call for the shooting at 9:15 after the train reached Independence. Now, EMS crews declared the victim dead when they arrived. Officers say the suspect was a passenger on the train and got off the train in Lee Summit. It's unclear why the train kept moving after the shooting. And we take this time now to honor one of our many four-state heroes. Claire Olt served in the Navy during World War II, his hometown, Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. And we're proud to recognize Claire Olt, tonight's four-state hero. And of course, more heroes are online, and you can nominate one of your own as well over at KOAMNewsNow.com. Just ahead on the KOAM News at 10, 6 people have been hospitalized after a mass shooting in Eugene, Oregon. Six people have been hospitalized after a mass shooting in Eugene, Oregon. This happened at a hip-hop concert at the Wow Hall downtown. Eugene police say someone opened fire in a parking lot behind the venue. One of those people shot is in critical condition. EPD says the suspect is a man last seen wearing a hooded sweatshirt who ran off, but that's the only description available now. Eugene Police Chief Chris Skinner said the scene was chaotic and that witnesses didn't cooperate with officers who first responded to the scene. He hopes people will eventually come forward. Authorities in North Carolina have released body cam footage from officers who arrived at the shooting scene of a man killed by an off-duty deputy. The video has been blurred and edited to avoid showing the man's body on the ground and to protect the privacy of witnesses. The shooting happened in Fayetteville on Saturday. The off-duty deputy, Lieutenant Jeffrey Hash, claims Jason Walker ran into traffic and jumped on his truck. He says Walker tore his windshield wiper off and shattered his windshield. Hash responded by shooting Walker, then dialing 911. A man in a sweatshirt who identified himself as the man's father is seen in 2 of the clips, describing what he saw, saying his son jumped on the hood, then Hash, quote, jumped out of his car and shot him. The city is working to have all of the body cam footage released. It encompasses about 20 hours of video. Authorities said a man took hostages today at a Texas synagogue during Saturday morning services. A law enforcement source said that at least 4 people are being held hostage and one is believed to be a rabbi. CBS News correspondent Deborah Alferon has the latest from Washington.
Police were first called to the synagogue around 11 a.m. in Colleyville, northeast of Fort Worth, Texas, just as Sabbath prayers were being held in person and streamed live. Officials said a man took several hostages, possibly including the synagogue's rabbi. On the live stream, the man can be heard saying he was the brother of a convicted terrorist who's being held in a federal prison in Texas. SWAT teams and FBI agents have been on the scene throughout the day. The rabbi has been known to reach out to those of the Islamic faith.
He has been to all our religious festivals, and we have been to the synagogue on their religious festivals.
Members of the local Muslim community came out to express support for the synagogue congregation.
To say our Jewish brother that we are behind them and we full support them and against this, condemn this act.
White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki tweeted Saturday evening that President Biden was briefed throughout the day by senior officials. Deborah Alfarone, CBS News.
Authorities are still trying to find a clear motive for the incident, which remained unresolved into Saturday evening. Later, guess what's back? Back again. It's National What Day Is It? It's back. So tell a friend.
But first, we're going to see things continue to calm down as we go through the overnight, but we got to get past a cold start, icy roads for some before we improve tomorrow. Forecast up next. We certainly had to put up with some periods of snow throughout the course of the day. We'll see how much we picked up in just a few, but let's see where we stand as we go into the rest of this late night and into Sunday. Still holding on to winter weather advisories in the blue for Bourbon, Crawford, Cherokee counties, much of southwest Missouri, Delaware County, and Oklahoma until we hit about the midnight hour. But overall, we're pretty much done with the storm system overall since we saw the brunt of the action late last night as the rain switched over to snow and throughout the morning and throughout much of the day, quite frankly, as we dealt with periods of snow, moderate to heavy pockets of it at times too. As far as where we stand, though, we're pretty much done with the storm system overall. You could argue maybe a couple snow showers trying to affect areas around Table Rock Lake, especially down in Berry County. But again, we're pretty much done with this system overall. Now, in terms of how much snow we picked up from this system, it wasn't a strong system by any means. It's getting stronger as it moves away from the region, but still a respectable system as far as how much snow we picked up. Granted, southeast Kansas, northeast Oklahoma in general, you saw between the dusting on the low end and up to about an inch. But once you hit the 69, 49 corridor, and certainly southwestern Missouri, that's where we saw the bulk of the snow, range from 1 to 4 inches across a good portion of the area. Doug picking up about 3 inches in his part of the Joplin metro. But once you hop east of 49, you can easily see some spots pushing close to 6 inches of snow. So this storm certainly delivered if you wanted any accumulating snow. But at least we're on the improving trend as we go through the rest of the night. You can see the look from Indigo Sky showing a quiet look. Now, as far as temperatures go, it was an interesting start to the day where we were pretty much at our highs for the day at the midnight hour, around 45 in Joplin, 30s and 40s elsewhere. But the cold front really did a number on the temperatures. We dropped into the mid-20s this morning, and we pretty much held mid to upper 20s to about the lower 30s across much of the region. And these numbers are still dropping off as we continue throughout the course of the night. Thankfully, though, the north breeze is dropping off. It was up there during the day at 10 to 20 miles per hour, helping to reduce visibilities as the snow came on down. But we're lighting up on that breeze. But that lighter breeze with moisture on the ground, with a little cloud cover trying to clear overnight, that will lead to some patchy fog for some of you, so something to keep in mind there. And also, even though we're done with the snow, any wet roads that are not treated, as temperatures drop into the teens to near 20 tonight, that could lead to some patchy black ice. So another thing to keep in mind if we're going to be on the roads late tonight and into Sunday morning. But again, though, the brunt of the storm system well to the southeast of us now. This will be an issue for the southeast tonight and the eastern coast as we go into the next few days. But around here, nothing immediate coming our way at the surface and at the jet stream, quite frankly. Once we get this upper low out of here, out of the deep south, that is, the upper ridge out west is going to finally send the jet stream back our way and get us back on the warming trend as far as temperatures go. But we got to get past a cold night with most spots with mostly cloudy skies and some patchy areas of fog in the upper teens to near 20. Then once we get past a kind of foggy morning for some of you, we'll go partly sunny by noon and mostly sunny tomorrow afternoon, and that will certainly help temperatures out. As far as temperatures go, let's say 19 or 20 in the morning, 33 by noon, and pushing 36 to about 38 degrees around the Joplin metro, and maybe some lower 40s in our far western counties. We'll do better as we go into Monday because as a jet stream lifts back to the north of the region. In fact, on top of us Monday, north of us Tuesday, we'll be in the mid-40s with quiet skies, Martin Luther King Day, and the 50s for our Tuesday. Now, a couple weak waves I want to watch throughout the middle of the week. First one could bring a few morning showers our way on Wednesday, but that will send us back into the chill. And a quick wave on Thursday, that could probably bring a few snow showers our way. But that is about it as far as active weather goes, as far as the week ahead is lining up. But at least we'll enjoy a little warming trend for the next few days. 36 tomorrow, 45 Monday, 54 on Tuesday. Then once you see those waves coming in on Wednesday, Chris, that's going to make sure it feels like January with 30s and 20s on the docket.
Yeah, January has felt like January almost every day since it started. We've had some warm spots.
Yeah, after a mild December, winter certainly knows how to make an appearance.
Winter just came right on in like
yes, it
that.
did.
Nick, thank you. Turning to sports, lots of college basketball in the area today.
First of all, we've got Pitt State hosting a doubleheader against Washburn. Plus, the Missouri Southern women aim to close out the week strong against Emporia State. All that and more next. The Pittsburgh State women responded to 3 straight conference losses in a big way on Thursday, a 26-point win over Emporia State. Back on the floor this afternoon, PSU aims for back-to-back wins against Washburn. In the first, nice move by Jamie Jackson, puts it in with her right. Here she is again, hits back-to-back threes, 8 points at half. She finishes with a team high and career high 17. A few plays later, Tristan Gegg spins and hits the jumper. Gegg has 12 in the game. Gorillas slow down a bit but lead 32-25 at half. Sydney Crane, hot out of the break, sinks the 3. Crane gets 16 points. The final minute of the third, Jackson finds Julia Johnson for the lay-in. Gorillas take their largest lead of the game so far, up 11. Then Crane again for 2 this time. Gorillas lead the whole way through, winning 69-56.
I think that today was a good testimony to her that that's the type of player that we've seen her be, and so I'm not surprised by it at all. She made a big 3, got herself going. 3 for 4 from three-point line is pretty good, so she should let that carry her. But the good thing that I see was a lot of balance in her shot selection, right and left hand, and just again being active, playing hard.
The men aim to bounce back after a loss to ESU on Thursday. Bobby Arthur Williams gets the first points for the Gorillas, finishes with 18. Then Ryan Pippins draws some contact, makes the bucket. He gets a team high 22 points today. Next possession, Isaiah James hits the jumper. And James again from the other side, he adds 11. Magic Relaford gets the steal here. He finishes on the other end. Pitt State, their largest lead of the game at this point. Later in the first, Tyler Gaiman makes the layup. Gorillas trail by 1 at half, and it ends up being a 1-point game. Washburn just gets by Pitt State 80-79. The Missouri Southern women are 6-3 in MIAA play and have a chance to extend their winning streak to 3 games this afternoon. Missouri Southern at home hosting Emporia State. In the first, the pass out to the corner to Caitlin Honeycutt. She drains the 3 for the early lead. Then it's Lane Skiles from the top of the key. She hits the 3, finishes with 14 points and 9 rebounds. Brooke Stauffer finds Maddie Stokes in the paint for the quick 2. Stokes drops a double-double, 15 points, 12 rebounds. And then it's Lacey Stokes driving the lane for the layup. She's the leading scorer this afternoon with 16. Southern gets another double-digit win, 86-63, the final.
I think as we build and we continue to improve with each game and each practice, our kids are gaining more confidence within themselves and with each other. And it's just one of those, especially on the defensive end, they're trusting each other that they know they're going to be there to help if they happen to get beat. So, and it helps to have Maddie and Haley back there a little bit as far as blocking shots. I think Maddie had 5 blocks today. So that just makes our guards more confident that they can get out and pressure the basketball, knowing that they've got somebody on the backside that's going to help.
The Missouri Southern men are 4th in the MIAA standings, with a chance to add another conference win to their record today. Stan Scott hits the corner 3 to break an early tie. We'll see more of him. But later in the first, Emporia State now pass to the outside to Brendan Van Dyke for 3, 29-24 Lions. All right, back to Scott. The bucket here is good. Team high 29 points for Scott. Later in the second, Avery Taggart kicks it out to Winston Desiso. He nails the 3. Lions trail by 5. They never get back on top. Emporia State wins this one 85-72. At the Division I level, a few huge upsets today. Kansas State 8-7 going into tonight's game. They beat 19-ranked Texas Tech 62-51 at home. And then Oklahoma State goes into Baylor's place and takes down the #1 team in the country 61-54. The Cowboys are one of just 2 teams to beat the Bears this year. The NFL playoffs are officially underway today. 2 games are on the schedule, both AFC wildcard games. The Buffalo Bills and New England Patriots are playing this evening. In the earlier game, the Bengals got their first playoff win in 31 years, 26-19 over the Raiders. We're back after this.
The bagel, that chewy, doughy, delectable food that flatters every kind of spread, from butter to cream cheese to jelly. Every day is a good day for a bagel, but Saturday, it's especially good. Why? Because it's National Bagel Day. It's observed every year on January 15th. According to nationaldaycalendar.com, Jewish immigrants from Poland are credited with bringing the bagel to the U.S. By 1907, food item was so popular that New York bagel bakers came together in the International Bagel Bakers Union. Bagels were made by hand for decades until Daniel Thompson invented the bagel maker in the 1960s. So whether you prefer the schmear or jelly, take a moment to sit down and enjoy National Bagel Day. And I have to say it right now, and I'll just hide. I don't like bagels.
Not even the Cinnamon Crunch bagels that St. Louis Bread Company, I'll still call it St. Louis Bread Company,
How do you not
brought
like a bagel?
to the market.
I have never really tried a bagel. I mean, except for when I was young and I didn't like it. Maybe I just had a bad bagel. You know, you have that bad experience and it just sets you for scars you for life.
Well, if you find good bagels, I would say Blueberry, or if you're at Bread Co., Cinnamon Crunch.
That does sound pretty good. I'll have to give that a try. Forecast sounding better.
Yeah, we'll be back about freezing
Eventually.
tomorrow, but still in the mid-30s. We'll see returning sunshine tomorrow, but thankfully, mid-40s Monday, mid-50s Tuesday.
All right, guys, thank you so much. That's our time for now. We had so much fun. We're going to come back and do it again tomorrow. Thanks for making us part of your night.